Chauvinism as noun. Belief in the superiority of one's own group. Excessive or aggressive patriotism. His chauvinism made it difficult for him to work collaboratively with women colleagues. The company's culture of chauvinism was criticized for its lack of diversity and inclusivity. The politician's chauvinism was seen as a hindrance to passing policies that benefited marginalized communities. The coach's chauvinism towards male players caused him to overlook talented female athletes. The comedian's jokes were criticized for their chauvinism and perpetuation of harmful stereotypes. Bowdlerize as verb. To alter or expurgate a written work by removing or modifying content deemed objectionable or inappropriate. To censor or modify a text by removing material considered offensive, vulgar, or improper, especially with the intent to make it more suitable or acceptable for the audience. The editor had to bowdlerize the explicit content of the novel for it to be suitable for younger readers. The film studio decided to bowdlerize certain scenes to ensure a more family-friendly rating. Critics accused the censors of attempting to bowdlerize history by erasing uncomfortable truths. The professor felt it was essential not to bowdlerize primary source materials in teaching history. The author refused to bowdlerize her work, believing in preserving the integrity of her storytelling. Irascible as adjective. Easily angered or irritated, prone to temperamental outbursts, quick to take offense, touchy or easily provoked. The irascible boss frequently loses his temper. She has an irascible personality and is difficult to work with. The irascible customer became angry when the store was out of stock. The politician is known for his irascible behavior in public. The irascible old man was always yelling at kids to get off his lawn.
Exegesis as noun. A critical explanation or interpretation of a text, especially a religious one. The systematic and comprehensive interpretation of a text or passage, especially of the Bible. The debate centered on the different exegeses of the Constitution. The religious text has been the subject of countless exegeses over the centuries. The professor's exegesis of the text shed light on its historical context. The book includes an exegesis of the author's personal experiences. The article's exegesis of the data showed some surprising patterns.
Muted as adjective. Restrained or limited in expression or impact. Toned down or subdued. Subdued or softened in terms of sound, color, or intensity, often implying a lack of vividness or brightness. Her muted response indicated her reluctance to engage in the conversation. The artist chose a muted color palette for the painting, creating a subtle effect. The muted lighting in the room provided a relaxing atmosphere. His outfit consisted of muted tones, blending into the background. Her expression remained muted throughout the meeting, revealing little emotion. Coalesce as verb. To come together and unite as one. Often used to describe the merging of separate entities or parts into a single whole. To fuse or blend together. Often used to describe the combination of different elements or substances. The two companies planned to coalesce into a single, larger corporation. As the painting neared completion, the various colors began to coalesce into a beautiful, cohesive image. The crowd of protesters seemed to coalesce around a single issue: police brutality. Over time, the small, independent communities in the area began to coalesce into a larger, more organized town. The two political parties were able to coalesce around a compromise that satisfied both sides.
Gumption as noun. Courage, determination, and spirit, the quality of being bold and not easily discouraged. Initiative or resourcefulness, the ability to take action and solve problems independently. You need to have the gumption to stand up for yourself and speak your mind. She showed her gumption by starting her own business, despite the challenges and risks involved. His gumption and perseverance paid off when he finally achieved his long-term goal. We need someone with the gumption to make tough decisions and take bold actions. The character in the novel had gumption and resourcefulness that allowed her to overcome adversity. Perquisite as noun, a privilege, benefit, or advantage that is granted in addition to regular salary or compensation. A right, benefit, or advantage that is enjoyed as a result of one's position, status, or profession. One of the perquisites of the job is a company car. The CEO enjoys many perquisites, such as a private jet and luxury office space. He was offered a salary increase, as well as various perquisites, to entice him to take the job. The perquisites of the position included access to exclusive events and free travel. The perquisites of being a member of the club included discounted rates at the golf course and access to the private dining room.
Dissemble as verb. To conceal one's true feelings, motives, or intentions. To disguise or pretend. Mary was an expert at dissembling her true feelings, always putting on a cheerful face even when she was upset or angry. The company's CEO was accused of dissembling in his public statements about the reasons for the recent layoffs. When questioned about his involvement in the robbery, the suspect began to dissemble, giving conflicting stories about where he was at the time of the crime. The politician tried to dissemble his true intentions by speaking in vague terms and avoiding direct answers to questions. The spy was trained to dissemble his true identity, adopting various disguises and cover stories to avoid detection. Halcyon as adjective. Blissful or idyllic, characterized by happiness and contentment. Calm and peaceful, untroubled by disturbance or worry. The halcyon days of summer are a time for relaxation and fun. The couple enjoyed a halcyon period of happiness in their marriage. The peaceful town was a halcyon place to raise a family. The artist's halcyon period produced some of his most beautiful works. The traveler longed for a halcyon existence, free from stress and worries. Surfeit as verb. To cause someone to feel uncomfortable or nauseated due to excess. To consume or supply excessively. To overindulge in something. Too much time spent on social media can surfeit the mind with useless information. The overabundance of advertising in the city was starting to surfeit the locals. The market was surfeited with cheap knockoff products. The politician's constant public appearances began to surfeit the public's appetite for her message. Her constant shopping was beginning to surfeit her wardrobe. Arriviste noun. A person who has recently acquired wealth, status, or success, especially one who is considered to be socially ambitious or newly arrived in a particular sphere. Someone who is perceived as an upstart or newcomer in a specific social or professional sphere. The ambitious arriviste sought connections with influential figures to advance his career. Her rise from obscurity to wealth marked her as an arriviste in the city's elite circles. The arriviste's lavish spending was an attempt to fit into the upper echelons of society. The literary protagonist was depicted as an arriviste, striving to enter high society. The social circle frowned upon the arriviste's attempts to infiltrate their exclusive club.
Presentiment as noun. A feeling or impression that something, especially something bad, is going to happen. An intuitive feeling or instinct about future events or circumstances. The traveler had a presentiment that something was wrong with his flight, which turned out to be delayed. The mother had a presentiment that her child was in danger and rushed to the playground to find them hurt. The actor had a presentiment that he would get the part in the movie, which turned out to be true. The athlete had a presentiment that she would break the world record, which she did the following day. The investor had a presentiment that the stock market would crash, which he acted on and saved his fortune.
Evanescent as adjective. Short-lived, transitory, or fleeting, tending to disappear or fade quickly, like a vapor. The evanescent beauty of a sunset. His memory of the event was evanescent and fleeting. The fragrance of the flowers was evanescent and lasted only a short while. The joy of the moment was evanescent and quickly faded away. The dream had an evanescent quality that made it difficult to remember upon waking. Hoary as adjective. Ancient, gray, or white with age. The hoary myth had been retold many times. The hoary old man had a long white beard. The hoary tradition had been handed down for generations. The hoary castle had stood on the hill for centuries. The hoary professor had been teaching for 50 years. Fractious as adjective. Quarrelsome, argumentative, or prone to disputes. Unruly, disobedient, or difficult to control. The fractious toddler threw a tantrum in the grocery store. The fractious debate among the politicians resulted in a stalemate. The fractious relationship between the two countries led to frequent disagreements. The fractious group of employees made it difficult to manage the project. The fractious atmosphere at the company caused many employees to quit. Presumption as noun. An assumption made without proof or sufficient evidence. An unwarranted attitude of superiority or self-assurance. The defendant's presumption of innocence is a fundamental principle in criminal law. She had no right to enter my room without permission, and her presumption that she could was unwarranted. The new policy is based on the presumption that all employees are honest and hardworking. The decision to cancel the event was made on the presumption that the weather would be bad. The CEO's arrogance was based on the presumption that his company was invincible. Anomalous as adjective. Abnormal or irregular in shape, form, or function, deviating from what is standard, normal, or expected. The results of the experiment were anomalous, deviating from the expected outcomes and raising questions about the methodology or data. The behavior of the suspect was anomalous, with no apparent motive or pattern that could explain the crime. The fossil was anomalous, representing a species that had never been found before and challenging existing theories of evolution. The stock price movement was anomalous, with sudden and unpredictable fluctuations that could not be explained by market trends or news. The weather was anomalous for the season, with unseasonably warm temperatures and little precipitation.
Nonplussed as adjective. Confused and unsure of how to react or respond. Unimpressed or not surprised by something that would normally be considered unusual or unexpected. He was nonplussed by the unexpected turn of events. She appeared nonplussed when I told her the news. The judge was nonplussed by the defendant's explanation. I was completely nonplussed by the instructions. The professor was nonplussed by the student's question.
Malevolent as adjective. Having or showing ill will or hatred towards others. Wishing evil or harm to others. The new boss had a malevolent air about him, making his employees feel uneasy and on edge. The malevolent glare of the criminal sent chills down the witness's spine. The graffiti on the wall was a clear act of malevolent vandalism. The dictator's malevolent reign of terror left the country in ruins. The horror movie was filled with malevolent spirits and supernatural entities. Ready to boost your English or ace the GRE? Meet the GRE Vocabulary app, a fun and effective way to master language. Learn advanced words with examples and audio. Master idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Enjoy quizzes, flashcards, and pronunciation tests. Customize your practice by difficulty or focus. Translate into 100+ languages with ease. Did you learn new words? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Download now and start your journey to vocabulary mastery.